We are in Huntingburg, Indiana today for Monday with the Mayor, featuring Mayor Denny Spinner on 18 WJTS. And it's a pleasure always to talk to you and keep up to date with what's happening in Huntingburg. And
thank you for this opportunity.
Well, we're glad that you take that opportunity in your busy schedule. Last week in the council meeting, you discussed the comprehensive plan.
Right.
So, I guess why does the city need a comprehensive plan?
Okay, the comprehensive plan is something that I think if you're aware of the news, following the news stories, Jasper is at the point where they're just about to complete their update of a comprehensive plan. Huntingburg at our meeting on Tuesday is beginning the process to start our comprehensive plan we have engaged or we have started negotiations with a firm, Taylor Seifker Williams Design, to walk us through the process of creating the comprehensive plan. Why do we need a comprehensive plan? The comprehensive plan is a document that cities are required to have to be eligible for certain funding from agencies such as OCRA, the Office of Community and Rural Affairs, primarily to show that any projects that come forward have community support, have been projects that have been talked about in the public, have something that is direction that the city truly wants to go. It's not just a plan that the mayor sits in his office and comes up with ideas. It's a community-driven plan. Huntingburg's current comprehensive plan was actually put together in 2007. Was updated in 2013, and in 2013 we updated the comprehensive plan in preparation for our Stellar Communities application. We didn't go back and start from the beginning. We kind of took where we were and updated it. So really we're past 7 years is kind of the average life of a comprehensive plan because things change. And here in Huntingburg, things have changed since 2013. Many of the Stellar projects have been completed. Many are underway. So we really felt it was time to take that good, hard look at ourselves and say, well, where are we now as a community based on the projects that have been done and projects that are still in the pipeline right now? Where does that trajectory take us in the next 5 to 7 years? So the council in our 2019 budget set money aside to engage with a consulting firm to help us get to there. We put out a request for proposal where we had 9 different firms contacted to say, are you interested in doing a study for us? We had 5 applications. We appointed a committee of staff on the City Hall, but also a member of our council and a member of our redevelopment commission, citizens, that were part of the review of the 5 proposals. We interviewed 2. From the review, we looked at it. We interviewed 2. They were scored according to a metric of based on different issues that we wanted to have as part of the study. And Taylor Seifker Williams Design was the recommended firm. So at Tuesday's meeting, the council agreed to allow the same team to begin negotiations with Taylor Seifker on the terms of the contract and will it fit within the budget that has been allotted for this work. So sometime in the next couple of weeks, we'll be sitting down with the successful firm, talking about that, and that's really when the timeline will be laid out, Bill. This is a process that will probably take us anywhere from 12 to 18 months to complete. So it's a year and a half process to get this done. The normal process includes, which has been something that we've done from even when you go back to the Stellar application. This will follow the same format for public input. There will be plenty of opportunities for public input into this process. There will be a committee formed at the beginning of the process of a cross-section of the community to guide the process, but there will be many opportunities along the way for the public to come in, give us some real basic information to begin with. Then as we refine that, come back to them and say, okay, here's where does everybody think this is where we're going? And then eventually it will come to the council for final approval and adoption. One of the big pieces of this also at the same time, one of the requests that we made in our proposal was for this firm, whoever it would be, would also walk through the updating of our current city codes, our city ordinances. The last time our codes were updated was in the 1990s. So not only is it a kind of a dated document, you change it as you go along. There's been ordinances adopted and changed as we go on. So what we're doing now in this process will be a complete review of all those ordinances and become a document that is a little bit more user-friendly, not only for us as a city, but as those questions come forward, there'll be a document that is a little bit more refined and a little bit more in mind of the person coming to ask the question. Sometimes in our own ordinances, Bill, somebody will ask a question and say, well, what is this? And we'll say, well, we'll have to look it up. And in one place it may say A, and another place it may say B. And that's hard for us as a city to understand sometimes. It's equally hard for our citizens. Well, give me the straight answer. Well, there are some inconsistencies as documents change over 20 years. There are some inconsistencies. So part of this process will be a complete review of all our ordinances again, and that will also require a great amount of input.
Times have really changed. 20 years
Right.
is a long time.
Right.
20 years ago, was there fiber optics?
Right,
Really.
exactly.
So
There's things that are different in our society that we never even thought of 20 years ago. And each council through this last 20 years has, made an adoption as something issue would come up. They may pass a new ordinances, and it's usually, we do a good job, try to do a good job of checking back and making sure that it's consistent with our previous one. But and there's different administrations, there's different councils. There's been, since the last time, there's been 4 different mayors. There's been so many different councils. So some of those things, it's just a time to step back and go, okay, let's look at it all and let's determine what we can do. And it's going to be a document. We've seen examples from other communities, Bill, that it becomes a really much. Right now, our code of ordinances, I've got it here on my desk, and it's hard for me to figure out sometimes. So the whole goal of this is not only to update, but to organize it much better, more flexibility, more visual. A good example would be, and I think if you look at the City of Jasper's plan that's now nearing approval. Very much more graphic. So a lot of the questions you get is when somebody's coming in and may want to add, let's say, a structure to their property, a garage or a carport or an outbuilding that's part of their property, and they say, well, what's the setback? How far do I need to be from the property line? Well, we can tell you what that is in a paragraph, but this new document will have examples of saying, okay, if the City of Huntingburg rule ordinance says that you have to have a 5-foot setback from your property line, there will be a graphic showing. Here's where you measure from. You measure from here to here, okay. And that's where the 5-foot setback will be. Or if there's your utility easement, where is that? How does that fit into my property? So there'll be hopefully a much more user-friendly document that gives you clear answers to those questions that you come up, and we can show you something that says, here's what we're talking about.
So now, I guess really we should say this is a comprehensive and reviewing.
Yes. So there's kind of 2 elements. The comprehensive plan is one thing. Mm-hmm. The code of ordinances is the second element, but they kind of go hand in hand. Once we go in as a comprehensive plan, one of the things the comprehensive plan does is determine how land will be used. For example, we'll say, well, we want to set aside this part of town for industrial. Or we want to set only residential in this area or only commercial in this area. And once we determine that through the comprehensive plan, then the code of ordinances needs to support our decisions in that way. So we want to look at our code of ordinances that says, do our codes match what our plan is now? It'll be on the same one will start, but then they'll be on a parallel path once we start making those decisions of what we want in the comprehensive plan. How do our ordinances relate to that new plan?
That's a good way to sum it up.
Right.
And really, this is something where the public, the residents, the community of Huntingburg will come together and work on that. Right. And it's not happening now. It's not happening behind doors. It'll be happening opening over the next 12 to 18 months. Right.
So the next step is between now and probably maybe our second in the next month. We will sit down with the firm that has been recommended, negotiate with them on a contract. And that contract will lay that timeline out and that will be shared with the public as soon as that is agreed upon. That'll be part of our communication plan, is to say, here's when those meetings will start. Here's your opportunity, and here's what we're looking for. And there will be a number of opportunities as that process moves through for the public input. And that's what makes it a good document. Again, this doesn't want to be my plan or the council's plan or the planning director's plan. We want the city to say, our citizens to have that vision, help us create that vision, and give us a path to follow. I think you can look back. I'm very confident. If you look back at we in 2012, we did some listening sessions. We did a study of our downtown. We did the update of the comprehensive plan, and basically everything that we've done as the council and the mayor to the projects that are part of Stellar all stemmed from that document. And that's something that we felt confident about as the council members and myself. We could say this is a project that is clearly identified by our community as something that we wanted to do, and we then have the ability not only to support in our own community, saying yes, we were told this is what we wanted to do, but also going to those people who might fund these opportunities for us to say we have community support to do this project.
Well, good luck with the.
It's going to be a long, involved process. It's not going to happen overnight, but it's something that really needs to be done, and we look forward and keep your eyes on the news when the opportunities come to get your input. We'll be talking about that, but we look forward to hearing what you all have to say and what's the future of Huntingburg look like, and from those who live and work here every day.
It's a city like no other.
It's a city like no other, absolutely.
We are in Huntingburg, Indiana, talking with the mayor of Huntingburg, Denny Spinner. Thank you for joining us on Monday with the Mayor on 18 WJTS.